Moments away from kickoff here in Santa Clara, California. 6-6 Broncos against the 2-10 49ers. Overcast day here in California. Bit of a breeze as we get set for kickoff. And Denver won the coin toss, and they have elected to defer. So Kyle Shanahan will get the football first, the former Broncos ball boy when his dad was the head coach at Denver. Vance Joseph spent 6 years here in San Francisco as an assistant coach for the 49ers, now in his second year in charge of the Broncos. Brandon McManus was a 64% touchback rate, will kick it away, and back deep for the 49ers, Richie James, the rookie out of Middle Tennessee State. Denver has won 3 games in a row, trying to make it 4 in a row for the first time since the start of the 2016 season. We're underway with McManus' kick landing at the 3. James takes it to the 21-yard line. Tim Patrick making special teams tackle for Denver. You take a look at Nick Mullins, who will be making his 5th consecutive start. Last week, 414 passing yards up in Seattle, the most by a 49ers quarterback since Tim Rattay in 2004. Will not have running back Matt Breida today. He is out with a sprained ankle. So it's undrafted rookie Jeff Wilson Jr. making the start. He goes in motion. On first down, Mullins pass complete to his favorite target, George Kittle, his team-leading 63rd catch of the season. As you see the 49ers starting offense on the screen below, Mike McGlinchey, the first-round pick, with big matchup today. He'll see a lot of Von Miller on the other side of the football. And now Bradley Chubb is at the top of your screen. He was out in coverage on that play, and Mullins goes the other way to Kendrick Bourne for a 49ers first down. Denver defense without one of its leaders, as Chris Harris broken fibula last week. He is out today. So is Brandon Marshall, missing his 5th straight game with a knee injury. So in the secondary, the rookie Isaac Yiadom makes the start, and he knows what's coming his way. He expects to see a lot of targets today defensively. On first down and 10, Mullins hands off to Wilson, and he's wrapped up from behind by Derek Wolfe.
You know, we had the 49ers earlier in the season, and we asked Kyle Shanahan, do other teams have a book on the different things that you like to do offensively? And he said, sure. He said, everybody knows I like to run the ball. I want to make the linebackers run from sideline to sideline, and I want that vertical attack passing game. So some deep shots, and we've already seen them make the linebackers run from sideline to sideline and stretch them out.
Second down and 9. It's a pitch to Wilson, running left, follows his blocks, lowers his shoulder, and takes the ball across the 45-yard line. He is marked down right near the sticks, and they're going to give him a first down.
When you look at Jeff Wilson, you look at his dimensions, 6 feet, 200 pounds. He doesn't seem like a big running back, but he runs like a guy who's 215 pounds. Kyle Shanahan said that he likes to just kind of run through people right there, right at the end of runs, and we saw that in that physical yardage right at the end of that last run.
His 3rd NFL game since being promoted off the practice squad. 61 yards rushing, 73 yards receiving in the loss last week against Seattle. Mullins with time, deep shot, wide open is Kittle. Kittle inside the 30 and down around the 22-yard line. A 31-yard pickup for George Kittle.
Marquise Goodwin gets an assist on this play. You see number 11 on the outside taking 2 defenders outside the deep 3rd area. That allows Kittle to settle right in behind him with a nice read by Nick Mullins.
We met with Vance Joseph, the Broncos head coach, last night. Certainly identified that's a problem for the defense, trying to cover Kittle, especially without Harris today. They're going to be mixing and matching in the secondary. And some movement up front. Our referee today is Sean Smith.
Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
3rd false start this season against the left guard, Laken Tomlinson.
Just a little too eager. You stumble right out of your stance, and that's about it. Everybody's going to see it in the stadium.
That's the 20th false start or offsides penalty against the offensive line of San Francisco this year, tied for the most in the NFL with Washington. 1st and 15. And Wilson tries to get a couple back. This Denver run defense has really been tough over their 3-game win streak, allowing just 93 yards rushing per game in the last 3.
One of the things that you'd really like to do against Denver is to stay on track. And by that I mean, when you get to 3rd down, you have a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 3. You don't want the longer down and distance situations. Those are tough to pick up against every team, but when they have elite outside rushers, it's really tough.
2nd down and 14. Mullins, pressure coming, steps up, throws, and completes it to Juszczyk. It was knocked out of bounds by Shane Ray, so nearly a sack. Mullins was able to get rid of it.
You've got pressure, but you also have a quarterback who's nimble enough where he can step away from that pressure and smart enough to know where the check down receiver is.
Nick Mullins, undrafted out of Southern Mississippi, all of last year on the San Francisco practice squad. The first 3 games this year on the practice squad before Jimmy Garoppolo went down with the torn ACL. And now faced with 3rd down and 10. Mullins, complete. Oh, it's dropped by Juszczyk. And he had some room to run, so you put that one on the fullback, and it's 4th down.
You know, you can have good hands, but if you don't use them, if you let that ball hit you in the chest, that plastic that you have on those shoulder pads is going to bounce right off, and that's what happened to Juszczyk right there.
Yeah, he may have seen Bradley Chubb waiting for him as well. And now here comes Robbie Gould for a 40-yard field goal attempt. He's made 13 consecutive field goals, the 5th longest active streak in the NFL. And Gould is good again. So an opening drive field goal, and San Francisco has a 3-0 lead. San Francisco leads at 3-0. This is their first lead since late in the 4th quarter against the Giants back in Week 10. So it's been a while since San Francisco has played out in front. Denver will get the football with Bradley Pinion kicking it away. Langley and Booker back deep for Denver. It will be Langley from the 2. Langley hit hard at the 18-yard line. That is Tarvarius Moore on the special teams tackle. As you take a look at the updated playoff picture, Kansas City and Baltimore are still going at it in overtime right now. And New England losing late to Miami. So a huge win for the Dolphins, something Denver has to be concerned about. Also Indianapolis getting a win at Houston. So early on, Denver getting no help. They got to win this game against the 49ers. 3-0 in favor of San Fran. On 1st down, Case Keenum taking a deep shot down the field, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Cortland Sutton, and the coverage on the play by Akello Witherspoon.
You saw something, Andrew, on that very first play that you're going to see time and time again today. Throwing away from the side that Richard Sherman is on. You want to attack Witherspoon, go after him a little bit. It's great coverage against Cortland Sutton there.
So for Case Keenum on the season, 14 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. However, no picks in his last 4 games. Tied for a career long for Keenum. 2nd down and 10. Here is the rookie Lindsey, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage. You saw a couple things early, though, James. We met with Case Keenum last night. He wants to take deep shots down the field.
Yes.
That's what he told us. We saw it on 1st down. And for Denver, they have struggled in the 1st quarter lately. During this 3-game win streak, they have scored a total of 3 points in the 1st quarter. So starting fast was a big key today for Vance Joseph. And right out of the gate, they're faced with 3rd down and 9. 6th worst in the NFL on 3rd downs this year. Keenum with time, and it is incomplete. Coverage on the play by the linebacker Elijah Lee, and a quick 3-and-out for the Broncos.
And if you are Denver, that little seed of doubt is starting to creep up in your head. We're going up against a team that's 2-10. We're concerned with our playoff standings. Everybody played the early games. We were catching some of those games at the hotels before we left. They've got to really focus in on their opponent on the field right now.
Here's Kobe Watson punting away for Denver with James, another rookie, back deep from his own 24. He bobbles it. Ball is free, and James falls on it. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Now, last week, James lost a fumble on a punt return up in Seattle, and he nearly coughs up another.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 46. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the dead ball spot. First down, timeout.
If James continues to have issues, Dante Pettis, who's had 9 touchdowns in college, will be back there.
3 very notable members of the Stanford Athletics Hall of Fame have a hand in today's game. Our own James Lofton, Broncos president John Elway, and 49ers GM John Lynch. The Stanford Hall of Fame. Mullins, with pressure coming, throws it away. His first incompletion today. He was 4 of 4 on that opening drive. And before the game, John Lynch, John Elway, always had a very good friendship. And some more Stanford guys.
Richard Sherman started as a wide receiver at Stanford for a couple of seasons before moving over to the dark side.
Always nice for you to come back to the area, James.
Big time pressure on that first down play against Nick Mullins.
Second down and 10. 9:13 to go, opening quarter. Mullins over the middle and incomplete with a flag down. He was looking for Dante Pettis, and now we'll see what Sean Smith has to say.
Well, they tried to put Chubb on Kittle in coverage.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And it is on Chubb.
Chubb is thinking, just let me rush the passer. Let me get after the passer. I've got 10 sacks. I'm trying to get the rookie record for the Broncos, and see the matchup right there. He's got him. It gets turned a little bit. You're in good position. Just continue to move your feet, and when Kittle stumbles, you get a little holding flag coming out.
Pettis in motion on 1st and 10. It is Wilson. And Wilson thrown down after a 2-yard gain. Back to New York, NFL Today Update with JB and Bill Cowher.
Walk-off win of the year.
Watch this last play of the game. Tannehill to Kenny Stills. Lateral to Devontae Parker. Throws it back to Kenyon Drake. And on this last play, the last defender is Rob Gronkowski. He stumbles 69 yards. Walk-off play. Miami beats New England 34-33.
Andrew and James, wow.
That's just like the offensive coordinator drew it up. Exactly.
Unbelievable. Probably the greatest finish in Dolphins history as Wilson across the 30. And by the way, not exactly what Bronco fans wanted to see, as Miami is one of those teams competing for the final wild card spot in the AFC.
Now, this is a nice job. You think this play is going front side. Good vision by Wilson to cut it back just a little bit, but to stay tight to the blocking scheme.
11-yard run for Wilson. Kyle Shanahan said that they wanted to get him off the practice squad earlier this season, but he just wasn't picking up the protections. He wasn't ready. As soon as they called up Matthew Days, that was a wake-up call to Wilson. And sure enough, he got a lot better on the practice squad, and they put him on the active roster. Mullins incomplete with a flag. Bradley Chubb had the pressure on Mullins. The flag is down around near midfield.
Just remember this, 4-2-5. That's what Goodwin runs in the 40. When you get matched up against him, you're going to hold him.
Holding. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's on Justin Simmons.
He's now once again holding Kittle, but these deep shots that the 49ers are taking We talked about that book on Kyle Shanahan. He likes to run the ball, run the linebackers from sideline to sideline, and take the deep vertical shots. And we've seen it, and we've seen the pass interference calls because of it, the holding calls. We've seen a nice completion to Kittle earlier in the ballgame.
6 first downs already for San Francisco, none for Denver after their 3 and out with 7:41 to go opening quarter. Wilson cuts it up across the 45. Takes a couple of tacklers with him to the 48-yard line, a gain of 8 for Jeff Wilson. Jewell and Kerr on the stop.
Jewell also in on the stop.
This is a nice rhythm for Kyle Shanahan because now when you look down at that play call sheet, you look at the second to 2 to 4 box. That box has little gold stars all around it because it's been successful on first down.
2nd down and 2. Mullins over the middle, pass deflected and incomplete. He was looking for Kittle, and Domata Peko got a hand on that one.
And what you saw here is you see a 5-man pass rush and man-to-man coverage on the back end. That's exactly what the 49ers are expecting, and they had it in the down and distance situation that they wanted. They had the matchup kill one-on-one against Simmons. Just couldn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you've seen Simmons, who started at free safety, in coverage a lot as the nickel corner matched up with Kittle a lot. Again, all because of Chris Harris's injury last week. That was shuffling for Denver. Right back to Kittle for a first down. That time it was Will Parks who had the coverage, but Kittle moves the sticks. What an impressive second-year player, a 5th-round pick out of Iowa. He arrived at Iowa 6'2", 190 pounds. Now he's 6'4", 250. He has exploded and leads his team in both receptions and receiving yards this season.
And sometimes you want that tight end who's grown into his body because he's still able to run like he did when he was 190 pounds.
Moving closer to a single-season team record as Alfred Morris has his first carry. Morris inactive the last 2 games, but with Breida out today, Morris is back in uniform. Met with Kyle Shanahan on Friday, and he was telling us about draft day with Washington in 2012. He basically convinced his dad to draft Alfred Morris, and that worked out pretty well for Washington.
And his dad was like, will you get out of the room? Quit bugging us on this guy. 1,600 yards his rookie year. Pretty good sales job.
Kyle was the offensive coordinator, his dad Mike the head coach. Screen pass, here's Morris, eludes one, and Morris fighting his way to the 40-yard line. Peko and Jewell on the tackle.
Some 3-yard gains are really good. This is a really good 3-yard gain because there's a 5-yard loss that started out at the beginning of this play. Morris makes a nice move to get away from the defensive lineman and to pick up those extra yards. And once again, 3rd and 3, manageable down and distance situation.
Ball at the 40-yard line. Mullins in the shotgun.
It's Kittle.
Mullins fires. It's incomplete. Kendrick Bourne, the intended receiver, he could not hold on. And Kyle Shanahan is going to send out his punter, Bradley Pinion.
You know, a lot of times when fans are at home sitting around, they're thinking, well, our team is 2-10. Why don't they go for this? Because you're still trying to give your team and those players in the locker room the best chance to win. And the smart move here is to try and punt this ball down inside the 10-yard line.
River Craycraft is deep man for Denver. He lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone. So in terms of field position change, not much on that touchback. 3-0 49ers. Second possession for Denver. They trail 3-0. Season review for the Broncos started 2-0. At that point, a 62% chance to make the playoffs. But at 3-6, only a 3% chance to go to the playoffs. And now, entering today, a 28% chance. Critical game, as we'll update the playoff picture in a moment. Keenum throwing on first down, completes it to Deshaun Hamilton. His 6th catch this season, getting the start today for the injured Emmanuel Sanders.
You know, that's a big pass and a big deal because you caught it in front of Richard Sherman. And these players are young enough where they've been watching Richard Sherman their entire high school, college career. They watch the Legion boom, and now they're playing against him, and they're going, he's a little bit bigger than what I thought he was. Arms are long.
Pitch to Lindsey. Second down, and he's got the first for Denver, their first today. So on back-to-back plays, Hamilton and then Lindsey, 6 rookies starting today for the Denver Broncos. There's 2 of them.
And Lindsey has had elite production without being a real workhorse runner. He's averaged 15 touches per game, and if you're thinking about what do the other top backs get? Well, Todd Gurley about 21 touches per game, and Ezekiel Elliott 24 touches per game. So maybe they'd like to get him a few more touches, but they want to keep that elite production.
3:40 to go, opening quarter. First down and 10. Keenum to Lindsey. Nice catch by Lindsey and out of bounds at the 38-yard line. NFL Today update. Here's JP and Coach Cowher.
Here's how the Chiefs clinched a playoff berth.
In overtime, RG3, who was in for Lamar Jackson the last 2 plays earlier, tries to hit Willie Snead on 4th and 22, incomplete. The Kansas City Chiefs go to 11-2 and clinch a playoff berth.
All right, back to Andrew and James.
And guys, that's a big result for the Broncos. As much as they don't like the Chiefs, they needed them there as Baltimore was ahead of them in the wild card standing. So finally something going well today for Denver when they look around the league as Royce Freeman is stacked up on second down and brings it up third. Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator, who's been under some criticism the last few weeks. Kyle Shanahan, you give him a vote of confidence earlier in the week.
And on third down, when he'd normally be going to Emmanuel Sanders, he's got a bunch of young receivers out there to try and find a go-to guy.
Keenum throws, and it's incomplete. Looking for Tim Patrick. Witherspoon had tight coverage.
It's just man-to-man coverage across the board. I got him. You take that guy. You take the other guy. And it's just a race across the field trying to gain some separation. Patrick not able to do that.
So the second punt for Wadman. His first one traveled 55 yards. It is not James back deep. They take him out after the muff. It's Trent Taylor on the return. And Taylor out of bounds at the 20. So Richie James, you might not see him back deep again. Mullins coming out when we return. Look at the Golden Gate Bridge, about an hour north of us here in Santa Clara, as we update the AFC playoff picture. And from a Broncos perspective, everyone in the hunt for that final wild card spot in the AFC won except Baltimore. So they go to 7-6, and now Denver has a chance today with a win to go to 7-6 as well. Mullins throwing on first down, completes it to Marquise Goodwin. And he'll get a nice ovation from the fans here in Santa Clara as he's been inactive the last 2 games because of personal reasons.
And you can see the speed, which makes the cornerback drop back, keep his distance. And because of that pass rush and coming after the quarterback, there's really no underneath coverage for Mullins to have to worry about.
110 yards so far for San Francisco, just 20 for Denver. Garrett Selleck goes in motion on 1st and 10. Wilson, and he is tackled from behind. Shelby Harris, who's playing very well of late, on the stop for Denver. Harris in his second season is in danger of getting cut over the summer. And now, as defensive coordinator Joe Wood said, he's turned into one of our most productive players. Of course, had the big interception against the Steelers a couple weeks ago.
21 personnel, 2 wide receivers, 1 2 running backs, 1 tight end.
Von Miller jumped off sides.
And when we talk to Von Miller, he's always trying to time that snap and trying to get off quickly.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. Main second down.
And if you're Vance Joseph, you're going, okay, yeah, I understand that because he has 12.5 sacks. If you were jumping off sides and you had 1.5 sacks this time of year, your coach is mad at you. He just go, oh, well, that's Vaughn out there.
Miller comes into the day needing a sack and a half to tie Simon Fletcher for the most in franchise history. 2nd and 6, Mullins pump fakes, now completes it, and here goes Kittle again. Kittle off to the races, still going. Kittle tripped up inside the 15-yard line. Justin Simmons finally catches up to him, but 52 yards for George Kittle.
You talked about it earlier, Andrew. You talked about the fact that he was a 190-pound freshman, and you saw that 190-pound freshman escaping this body. Look at the speed there. That's not 250-pound speed. That's 190-pound speed. He's flying down the field.
End of the first quarter, 3-0 San Francisco. George Kittle receiving congratulations from his teammates and fans here in Santa Clara. He just set the single-season team record for most receiving yards in a season by a San Francisco tight end. He passed Vernon Davis, and he's got the 49ers knocking on the door here to start the second quarter, already in front 3-0. Wilson on the carry. Wilson runs into Todd Davis. Gets a couple of yards, but what a start to this game for Kittle, who already has 94 yards receiving.
And when you look at Kittle, what you have to realize, as a second-year player, a guy who had 500 yards receiving his first year, he's building onto it. He's one of those special building blocks that when you get Garoppolo back, when Dante Pettis takes the next step next year, he's one of those featured players that you can look at and say, we can build an offense around our tight end. Get some good receivers outside. McKinnon, our running back, comes back. There's some hope and promise for next season offensively.
Derek Wolfe shaken up on that play for Denver. Just ran off the field with the help of some of the Broncos training staff. He's playing with a very painful rib injury today, so we'll see if that is what takes him out right here. But he said it feels like someone is stabbing me with a knife, which doesn't sound very pleasant, and therefore he's not in the game right now on this 2nd down and 5 play.
It's Kittle as the wing tight end up there in motion now.
A pitch to Wilson. Wilson spun down, and it was Zach Kerr on the tackle for Denver. And it brings up 3rd down for San Francisco.
You remember that old student body right that the USC Trojans would try and run? Well, this is similar to it. Kittle's the fullback who's outside. You try and give your runner the ball deep and let him create a cutback angle. Nice job pursuing by Denver that time.
Jimmy Garoppolo watching from the sideline. His 49ers have really struggled in the red zone this year, 2nd worst in the NFL at just 44%. They had 2 red zone turnovers last week in Seattle. 3rd down and 2. Mullins is brought down. He bumped into his own man, and I believe Bradley Chubb will get credit for that sack.
Down on the field, I was talking to DeMarcus Ware before the game, who helps out with the pass rushes, and he said Bradley Chubb just has such physical power and brute strength. He can just run through people. See him right there. He's getting blocked. He runs through the blocker, knocks over the quarterback.
11th sack of the season for Chubb, so he's only a half sack away from tying Von Miller for the most in franchise history by a rookie. And San Francisco continues to struggle in the red zone. They settle for 3. It's a 6-0 lead. .13:01 to go first half. And San Francisco has a 6-0 lead on Denver with the Hall of Famer James Lofton. Our producer, Steve McKee, director, Chris Benson. I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us. Week 14 of the NFL on CBS. Denver has just 20 yards of offense so far in the first half to 161 for San Francisco. Short kick on the return. It's Langley again. Langley, he lost the football. Sua Cravens appears to have scooped it up. So now we've seen both teams lose kicks. And both teams recovered their own loss as Langley is brought down, and there is Cravens playing in his 5th game with Denver to fall on it.
You know, that is such a nervous feeling when you're the ball carrier. That ball squirts away and you're helpless to get back toward it. You just want one of your teammates to show up and save you.
So poor field position for Case Keenum to start this drive at his own 16-yard line. And it's a pitch to Tim Patrick. Patrick with some blockers in front, and Patrick hit hard, but he's got the first down. There is a flag down right near where Patrick was tackled. Patrick in his first year out of Utah.
Tripping defense, number 23. 10-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That's on Witherspoon.
And he's getting blocked by Cortland Sutton, and you can see him stick his right leg out, trips him up. I was always afraid to do that. I thought I was going to hurt my shin or something. Every once in a while you see a guy do that and you think, get leg whipped, and that doesn't feel very good.
Doesn't look good either. 21 yards between the run and the penalty, so that helps the poor field position.
That's more yardage than they gained
exactly.
First 2 drives.
So first down and 10, ball at the 37. Here's Lindsey. Lindsey bottled up. He gets 1 on the play. Well, before the game, Philip Lindsey reunited with the man who recruited him to play football at Colorado. That is John Embry, who is now the 49ers tight ends coach. Embry went into Lindsey's house, offered him a scholarship. 5 minutes later, when he was driving away, he found out he got fired. So Philip Lindsey was then in limbo because he had torn his ACL senior year of high school. Didn't know if Colorado was going to honor the scholarship. Mike McIntyre did. But obviously it was Embry who was the one who helped bring Lindsey to Colorado. It is Keenum connecting with Patrick again for another Denver first down.
You know, to kind of dovetail onto that story, I talked to Philip Lindsey about it because it's his almost coach, a guy who he never got to play for, but who impacted him so much because that road to Colorado really led to the road here with the Broncos now.
And Lindsey was funny telling us the story yesterday. He said when Mike McIntyre then came to see him, he was about 160 pounds with a busted knee and big hands. Patrick could not hold on to that one, nearly picked off by Elijah Lee. But as Lindsey was having other scholarship offers taken away from him, he was thankful that Colorado did not remove it.
When you are a young receiver, you've got to catch every ball possible. And this is, you know, I would expect the challenge flag to come out of Kyle Shanahan. I called him Mike Shanahan. I can't believe I did that. But Kyle Shanahan's got to throw that challenge flag out there because this is a chance to get the ball right around midfield.
Yep, he did drop the flag.
And we've seen a replay here in the stadium where that ball kind of skips off the ground.
Could be an interception for Elijah Lee. We'll find out when we come back to Santa Clara.
San Francisco.
Sun peeking through the clouds here in Santa Clara, but it's not a sunny result for Kyle Shanahan as that pass has been confirmed as incomplete. It would have been if Kyle won. It's just San Francisco's 3rd interception of the season. Instead, they still only have 2 on the year. As Keenum hands it off to Royce Freeman. And Freeman is tackled by Witherspoon. Brings up 3rd down for Denver.
In the last 3rd down situation, the 49ers lined up man-to-man coverage, press, bump, and run right in the face of these young Denver Bronco wide receivers. not allowing them to get off the line of scrimmage nor get open. So let's see if they do the same thing here, trying to match up one-on-one against everybody.
No team fewer than 3 interceptions in a season. San Francisco still with just 2. 3rd down and 8. Keenum is in the shotgun. Keenum with pressure coming. He is sacked with a flag down. Ronald Blair, the first to get back there for the 49ers. Let's wait and see what the flag is.
Holding offense, number 72. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
Penalty on Garrett Bowles, and a good job by this San Francisco defense.
It's good pressure, collapsing the pocket, but it's even better pass coverage down the field because Keenum has a time to look, but he doesn't have anybody to throw to. So great hand-in-hand, pressure, and coverage.
Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, celebrating that as his defense has forced another punt with Taylor, the deep man. Moves up to the 15, a flag is down. Taylor eludes 2 tackles and then is brought down at the 23. The flag is back toward the line of scrimmage. So Sean Smith a little busy here in the first half.
You've got to hope it's running into the punter, not roughing the punter. '49ers were close to getting a hand on it, but they didn't look like they got a hand on it.
Tom McMahon is Denver's special teams coach, first season with the Broncos after coming over from Indianapolis.
Running into the kicker. Defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
So it's running into the kicker.
Right.
They called it on 57. Looked like it was 53 to Zacha.
Yeah, you got 26 and 53 there, so he kind of just combined the numbers for him. Gave you 56.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. And Vance Joseph will have Wadman go back out, punt it again.
And you've really got to believe, if you're Vance Joseph, that you can pin him down inside the 10-yard line here with a good punt.
High end-over-end kick. Taylor watches it bounce at the 11, and it's down around the 15-yard line. Well, this past Tuesday, 49ers players, ownership, and executives, along with their families, gathered here at Levi's Stadium to host their 3rd annual Convoy of Hope Resource Fair. The team provided groceries, books, toys, and holiday gifts to over 1,500 San Francisco area guests. 10 minutes to go, first half. And San Francisco continues to lead 6-0.
And they continue to possess the ball. This is a chance for Denver to stop them, a 3 and out, get the ball back, get your offense finally rolling.
Mullins looking to throw. There's Kittle wide open. Kittle in Denver territory. Kittle is gonna go! Touchdown! 85 yards! Somebody's got to cover George Kittle.
We talked about the book on Kyle Shanahan. Run the ball. Make the linebackers defend from sideline to sideline. And that vertical attack passing game. George Kittle is the perfect tight end to go along with those deep vertical passes.
Longest catch of Kittle's career. And Gold's extra point is good. George Kittle has 179 yards receiving in the first half. George Kittle's having a day, and we're still in the second quarter. 179 yards to just 39 for the entire Denver offense so far today. And a little bit of shock on that Denver sideline as they now trail by 13. Pinion kicking away. It will be Booker on the return. And Booker to the 25 as we go back to the touchdown.
A little bit of deception to start it with the motion that comes across here. But you have Kittle, who's kind of hiding right there in the backfield, and he's going to run down and through the defense, and nobody picks him up because of the motion and that hesitation that he has at the line of scrimmage.
You don't really see guys that wide open in the NFL. Kittle going the distance, 85 yards, and now the pressure is on this Denver offense without Emmanuel Sanders. Tore his Achilles in practice on Wednesday. A lot of youth on this side of the football with Case Keenum under center. And he's going to go to the air on first down. Keenum checks it down to Lindsey, incomplete. Lindsey was open. Keenum and Lindsey could not connect.
Yeah, and Keenum thought that Lindsey was going to continue to run. He stops his feet just a little bit. And so now you're getting all these young players, a bunch of receivers who had never caught a pass before this season. You have Tim Patrick, who's a first-year player, 2 rookies out there. Philip Lindsay as a rookie as a back, and it's all kind of disjointed right now.
Lindsey, and he was met by Eric Armstead, the 4th-year man out of Oregon, having a very nice season for the 49ers.
And, you know, you look at the 49ers and you think about a 2-10 record, but then you look, well, where have they invested their money, so to speak? And it's been along that front 4. Solomon Thomas, first-round pick in 17. Eric Armstead, first-round pick in 15. And DeForest Buckner, who has 9 sacks, another first-round pick. So there's some talent up here along that front unit, and they're starting to show themselves.
3rd down and 10. Keenum completes it, but now it's incomplete. A flag is down. Big hit on the play by Anton Exum.
And a big hit on the quarterback, too. And those are frowned upon around the league.
Flag is down at the 15-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's on Solomon Thomas. You just referenced him.
And you can see Keenum get rid of the ball, and at that time, Solomon Thomas was still a little bit ways away from him and just kind of bumps him a little bit. Keenum might have spent a little time in Los Angeles during the offseason working on his acting career, because that was a pretty nice flop right there.
That is a critical penalty against San Francisco and a huge break for the Broncos, as Booker could not hold on to that pass. They were looking at punting instead. 1st and 10, and that one's caught by Courtland Sutton. And Sutton to the 44-yard line. Tonight on CBS, can a friend's suggestion bring a father and son together? A new God Friended Me tonight after 60 Minutes, only CBS. Kyle Shanahan got a penalty last week up in Seattle, an unsportsmanlike conduct. Had a few choice words for one of the officials. He could have had a few more words after that call on Thomas. Lindsey cannot get away from DJ Reed. This was the penalty last week on Kyle Shanahan. He was unhappy because Russell Wilson picked up a shoe. Who throws a shoe? And threw it. And then Kyle had seen enough at that point, 15 yards.
But his players liked the fact that as they were getting beaten in that game, that he kind of, showed some emotion. And they, rallied behind him in all their comments about it.
3rd down and 9. Keenum, he's going to keep it himself, and he's got the first down and more. Heads up play by Case Keenum. He runs for 16 and extends the drive.
4-man pass rush with man-to-man coverage. When a quarterback gets a lane, he better take it. You see everybody running with the receivers in the opposite direction down the field. Case Keenum also nice job to slide and get down so he doesn't get bumped around anymore.
John Elway gave him that big contract in the offseason.
It's just a medium-sized contract.
That's the longest run this year for Keenum, 16 yards. Inside 7 minutes to go in the first half. Play fake. Keenum to Hamilton. And right there is DJ Reed again. So with K'Wan Williams, the nickel corner for San Francisco, out today with a knee injury, DJ Reed has moved into that nickel spot, and he's made a few plays here in the first half.
And the funny thing about DJ Reed, who's listed at the safety position, when you look at his size, 5'9", 188 pounds, he has corner size, so you can see the coverage skills coming in handy and the run stopping skills to play before coming in handy.
Kyle Shanahan joked this week he can play the nickel, he could play safety, he could play corner, he can even play D-line at this point in the season. And a big snap! Keenum is able to scoop it up and he throws it away.
Outside the tackle box,
Elijah
but short
Lee.
of the line of scrimmage.
Elijah Lee was closing down on Keenum. Connor McGovern getting the start at center for the 4th straight game. That was a rough snap. Right now there is not a flag on the field, and now there is. As I say that,
Intentional grounding, offense number 4. The ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage, and the quarterback was outside the pocket. The foul is the ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down, 3rd down.
Sean Smith could use a throat lozenge right now. Yeah,
got a few up here. So this Denver team, so many injuries, lost their starting center Matt Paradis to a fractured fibula, so it's been McGovern who's done a good job at center since taking over, but that snap was on him, and now 3rd and 26. Quick pass to Lindsey, trying to get him in space. It's not going to happen. Thrown down. And another great job by this San Francisco defense. Ronald Blair on the tackle.
Just so many playmakers at receiver who have exited this team. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. You get a big, long down distance situation, and you go to your rookie running back.
4th punt for Colby Wadman. Wind is picking up here at Santa Clara, and that one will go into the end zone. 5:22 to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Farmers Insurance. Derek Wolfe back in the game for Denver. You saw him leave earlier in the half. He was evaluated for a concussion but cleared to return. 5:22 to go, 2nd quarter. San Francisco with the football and a 13-0 lead. Here is Wilson on the pitch. And nowhere to go. Von Miller and a group of his teammates on the tackle of Wilson as George Kittle, already a career high in receiving today with 179 yards, and just 2 yards away from breaking the single-game San Francisco record by a tight end, set by Vernon Davis in 2013.
And right now, the Broncos are breathing a sigh of relief because he is standing on the sideline. So they have him covered for now.
Empty backfield for Mullins on 2nd and 9. Mullins, and it's incomplete. That one was looking for Selleck, went off the back of Josie Jewell, the rookie out of Iowa.
But that's a little pressure in the face of Mullins, and it's too deep coverage, man-to-man. You're running that middle linebacker with the tight end down the hole. He needs to throw that ball up over the top and drop it in.
George Kittle and Josie Jewell were teammates at Iowa, and Kittle said this week he was really hoping that Jewell will be matched up with him because he's a bad trash talker. He wanted to hear just how bad Jewell will be. He said he's a farm boy. He can't really talk. So Kittle was looking for that matchup, but that time Jewell was on the backup tight end, Selleck. On 3rd and 9, Mullins, big slant, Juszczyk, and Juszczyk has the first down. Pretty looking play, Mullins to Juszczyk for 17.
You know, we had the slant pass earlier that Juszczyk took his eyes off of, but You know, here's a guy who came into the game with over 150 career receptions. You know he can catch the ball. You know, he's like that utility knife. He can do a lot of different things, and he creates a lot of problems for the opposing defense. That time split out wide, running a wide receiver route.
And James, it's not a surprise, but it's clear early that Denver really misses Chris Harris at defensive back and Emmanuel Sanders at wide receiver. Wilson up the middle to the 45-yard line. Justin Simmons on the tackle. A gain of 7, though, for the undrafted rookie out of North Texas, Jeff Wilson, playing in just his 3rd NFL game, and San Francisco going quickly now in the no-huddle. Mullins will back off.
Paul Miller up top trying to get a jump.
Mullins comes back, and it's caught by Joe Staley. Just like Kyle Shanahan drew it up. Deflected by Shelby Harris, and Joe Staley, in his 12th year out of Central Michigan, has the catch.
And look at that grin on his face, because sometimes when that ball gets tipped up, you're thinking, oh, everybody, knock it down, knock it down. He's thinking, no, I got a chance to show my stuff. I catch balls during pregame warm-ups and practice on Saturday. I know I can do this. I got tackled. Who tackled me?
See something every day in this league. So with Miami today, the walk-off against New England. Now we got a left tackle making a catch. 3rd and 8, flag down. Mullins caught by Goodwin for a first down. Goodwin lost the football, and it's scooped up by Darian Stewart. Isaac Yadam forced the fumble. Stewart recovered. Now let's see what the penalty is.
Kittle made a play on that play to draw the flag, so the 49ers are going to get the ball back because he was being held, holding or illegal contact, one or the other, but they put the hook around him.
Kittle, middle of your screen.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So a big call on Sua Cravens, and that negates the turnover.
When you have an elite level tight end, the matchup issue that you have is he's too big for corners, he's too fast for linebackers, and strong safeties who used to be really big are now just big corners. So they don't have a matchup person that can go against them, and Kittle is having his way today.
By the way, for Staley, his first catch since 2013 and his 3rd career reception. 2:20 to go. Mullins pass deflected, and twice Jewell got a hand on it as well, as Mullins was trying to squeeze that into Dante Pettis.
Boy, Pettis runs a really sweet route. You see him get hooked a little bit there, and this ball gets tipped. If this ball is not tipped off the hand of the quarterback, this may be a touchdown for Pettis going straight down the middle.
Shelby Harris making another play for Denver up front. Got his hand on that one. And now 2nd down and 10. San Francisco has 2 timeouts remaining. They lost one on the failed challenge by Kyle Shanahan. Wilson. And it'll bring up 3rd down, and that could take us to the 2-minute warning. And now here's a special look at Clint Eastwood's The Mule in theaters Friday. Our photographer, Jonathan Pope, not exactly smooth sailing on the ice at Central Park here in Santa Clara. You look a lot better on the sideline than you do on skates, Pope. 2 minutes to go, and a 3rd down and 6 for San Francisco. Pressure coming, it's Von Miller, and he decks Nick Mullins. 13 13.5 sacks on the season now for Von Miller. And what's so funny about that, James, we met with him last night. He said, it's so hard for me to get sacks on third down because everybody knows I'm coming. Well, that's a big play on third down.
I like the closeout at the end of the play. Von Miller doesn't go for the big hit. He tries to swipe at the ball. But they also did something that I really love afterwards. All his teammates wanted to do a planned celebration. Von Miller said, no, look at the scoreboard. We're down 13-0. Let's just walk off the field and see if we can get this done in the second half.
He has 13.5 sacks now on the season. 5 of the 13.5 have come on third down. Coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report. River Craycraft back deep to receive the punt from Bradley Pinion. Von Miller is now just a half sack away from tying the franchise record set by Simon Fletcher. Craycraft with a fair catch at the 21. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. This Denver offense has struggled the entire first half. They only have 59 yards of offense. They clearly miss Emmanuel Sanders, but they're given an opportunity here late in the first half to try to move down the field. They have all 3 timeouts. Low snap. Keenum looking deep for Sutton, out of bounds. Incomplete. A flag comes down from the other side of the field. It's in the secondary. Sean Smith has been very busy in the first half. Each team has been penalized 5 times.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Just the 3rd penalty of the season called against Richard Sherman.
It used to be where officials didn't call holding all over the field. They would call holding to the side where maybe the ball was thrown. That's way away from the penalty, from the play, but can't grab anymore.
Keenum dumps it off. It's Booker, who was taken down by DeForest Buckner. And Denver will hurry up to the line, try to preserve those timeouts. They have 2 timeouts remaining. They used one after the 3rd down play on the last drive by San Francisco. Keenum in trouble, and he throws this one to the ground. Was feeling the pressure. And it's 3rd down and 3.
In an obvious pass situation, these defensive linemen are just firing off the ball. Cassius Marsh does a nice job with the tackle and stunt. The tackle goes outside. He comes up inside and under and puts pressure on Keenum, because Keenum had 4 verticals going down the field and wanted to try and hit something deep.
Denver is just 1 of 5 on 3rd down so far today.
There's Cortland Sutton at the bottom.
Keenum in trouble, gets away from Thomas, still in trouble, and just throws this one away. The San Francisco defense has come to play today as they force another punt.
Man-to-man coverage on the outside up top, and the 49ers win with all those man-to-man matchups. There's nowhere to throw the ball, and Keenum gets pressured, scrambles out of the pocket, and does his best just to get rid of it without taking a sack.
Philip Lindsay today has 5 carries for 3 yards. This Denver offense has not been able to move the football as Wadman is punting for the 5th time. Trent Taylor, fair catch at the 27-yard line. As we celebrate CBS's Super Bowl season, we look back at some memorable moments in Super Bowl history. Memorable for Denver fans for sure. Super Bowl 50 on CBS right here in Levi's Stadium. Von Miller, 2.5 sacks, forced 2 fumbles. He was the MVP. Broncos won 24-10. CBS, the proud home of Super Bowl 53 this season. The game is February 3rd in Atlanta. Countdown continues. Von Miller telling us last night he had a feeling he was going to have a big day today. Obviously, so many great memories for Miller. Super Bowl MVP in this stadium. 1st down and 10 for San Francisco. Mullins to Kendrick Bourne. 1st down, San Fran, a gain of 12. Todd Davis on the tackle. How about Nick Mullins in the first half? He has been dialed in, looking for more through the air. And I'll throw this one away. But Mullins has thrown for 233 yards in the first half.
I don't know if I've ever seen a tight end with a first half like George Kittle has had. I remember a game when I was playing for the Packers. Kellen Winslow and Eric Coryell came into play against us, and Kellen Winslow just shredded our defense, much like Kittle's doing today.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. Our guys back in New York have all the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Officials discuss potential grounding there, but there was a receiver in the area, so no penalty, and it's 2nd down and 10. Wilson goes in motion. Von Miller jumped offside again, and they blow that one dead. Otherwise, Miller would have blown up Nick Mullins.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Second time today, Miller has jumped off sides.
And I talked to him again on the field before the game, and he said, I am trying to beat that snap count. I'm trying to get around that edge so that I can dip and get to the quarterback. And Nick Mullins has gotten him with that voice inflection just a little bit and changing up the snap count.
2nd down and 5 as the 49ers move closer to Robbie Gould field goal range. Mullins incomplete, and there's a flag. Sua Cravens had the coverage on Trent Taylor, and that's going to be the 2nd penalty on Cravens today.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
Sua Craven's job description is safety, and he's having to play a small, shifty slot receiver. And that's not a good matchup. And you talked about Chris Harris being out. So now you're down a couple of corners. You're putting safeties in to play positions that you normally have coverage corners playing. And the matchups and the wins are all going to the 49ers in that regard.
1st and 10 from midfield. Another flag is down. Mullins to Bourne. Bourne slips the tackle and then lunges up ahead to the 42-yard line. And this is going to be on Denver again.
And you're getting the clock stopped. So you're getting all the advantages if you're the 49ers here.
Looks like Zach Kerr.
Offside. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
It is on Zach Kerr, the 5th-year man out of Delaware. And now the ball at the 45-yard line. Robbie Gould has made 8 straight field goals from beyond 50 yards. That's the 3rd longest active streak. Mullins over the middle, caught. Guess who? George Kittle again, and that catch gives him a single-game franchise record for most yards by a tight end in San Francisco history. He now has 192 yards receiving today. And San Francisco calls timeout. They have 1 remaining.
Yeah, and I've got no issue with using that timeout. You've got 30 seconds, so you're really looking at a chance with your timeout to probably run about 3 plays. Get a lot closer field goal range and also potentially take a shot at the end zone. You get somebody like Dante Pettis, who's really good at the line of scrimmage. He can win and get some open area. He'll probably just throw his hands up and go out for a deep ball.
Kyle Shanahan, not only the head coach, but the play caller for the 49ers, has done a masterful job in this first half. That was their 9th play that gained at least 10 yards.
It was a good one at the bottom, speed matchup.
Oh, and pass deflected at the line and incomplete. And it was Shelby Harris again making a play on defense. Harris had a sack and a half last week and is batted down a few today at the line of scrimmage. From here, it would be a 50-yard field goal for Gold. But San Francisco still has a timeout to play with. Mullins. Kittle again! Is somebody going to cover this guy? He's over 200 yards receiving. 18 more for George Kittle.
Well, it's a big-time lack of communication. You got number 41 and number 21 both chasing Kendrick Bourne inside. Nobody going with Kittle outside. Kittle is the man of the moment.
When you look around this San Francisco offense, there's not a lot of weapons right now, which is even more perplexing as to how Denver has allowed him to go over 200 yards receiving. Ball at the 14-yard line. First down and 10. Looked like Von Miller jumped again. Third time this half. Von Miller has jumped off sides.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You know, the first time it happened, you're going, well, that's Vaughn. That's what he needs to be able to do. Now the frustration level has gotten to Vance Joseph. He's going to pull him out now and just give him to calm down, get the other pass rushers in.
You know, what's funny is that Mike McGlinchey, the rookie right tackle this week at practice for San Francisco, he had guys on defense run off sides on him to prepare for Von Miller's speed. But
sure.
This is a little different. Now there's actually penalties being called. Mullins to Wilson. Cuts back at the 10 and down to the 4-yard line. And Kyle Shanahan runs down the field to call timeout.
Because that allows him with that timeout to run 2 plays as opposed to getting up, spiking it, and only having 1 play to run.
Von Miller had 3 offsides penalties all season. Coming into the day, he's got 3 here in the first half. And now San Francisco first and goal, looking for more.
You know, a little bit of that is pressing, being a little anxious, but I also have to credit Nick Mullins because if you watch him, they have changed the snap count up, and you can see him, there is just the slightest shoulder flinch when he gives you a hard hut. And that hard hut has not only affected Von Miller, but we've had other guys offsides with the Denver Broncos.
Got to be careful here with no timeouts. And now Denver has called timeout with 15 seconds to go. George Kittle, 7 catches, 210 yards, and a touchdown.
Kittle has been everywhere. You've watched him play tight end, but his ability to run after the catch, that's the thing that is really impressive. Andrew pointed out, 190 pounds going into college. He runs like a 190-pounder going down the field.
Third most in a game by a tight end all time. Only Shannon Sharp with more. That was when he was with Denver in 2002. He did it against the Chiefs. First and goal. Mullins, and it's incomplete, and a flag comes down from the back of the end zone.
Now, wait a minute. Pettis falls down, and the defensive back is there. Is he going to get called for holding because he doesn't let him up?
Pass interference. Defense number 41. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Now, I love wide receivers, but this call against the defensive back right here, no, because the ball's thrown when he's on the ground. So that's not pass interference.
Tough one for the rookie Isaac Yiadom to swallow. They spot the ball at the 1-yard line. 12 seconds to go. No timeouts for San Francisco.
Now, you play video games a lot. Are you going to run it here or are you going to throw it from the 1-yard line?
I played video games. None of these players were born. Wilson is the running back. Mullins to the end zone to Pettis. Touchdown! And the 49ers pouring it on against Denver.
Great job with the formation, motion, making it look like run, and then that quick first step by Pettis. He had tried to run that slant on the previous play. That time he gets him the same inside move, and he goes directly to the outside. And that's great separation. And then the little fake TO there, as if he's pulling a Sharpie out of his sock.
Touchdown in 3 straight games for Dante Pettis. He's the first 49er to do that since Vernon Davis in 2013.
Vernon Davis is just seeing his records go by the board.
He's had a bad day,
yeah.
Vernon Davis, as Yadam was shaken up on that play. And that is an area where Denver, already without Chris Harris, does not have a lot of depth. 5th touchdown this season for Dante Pettis, the 2nd-round pick out of Washington. That's hence the hair color. And now moving on up the chart. An extra point for Gold is good. And with 8 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter, it's 20-0 in favor of San Francisco.
A lot of long faces on that Broncos sideline, but the captains have to kind of get the guys going at halftime. You know, a 20-0 mountain is a tough mountain to climb, but you do it one drive at a time, one series at a time. And the Broncos just unable to close out that 2nd quarter. They give up the long pass to Kittle, and then they can't get anything going on their end in the 2-minute drive, and they give up the 2-minute drive touchdown to the 49ers. So down 6-0, and then 14 points to end the 2nd quarter.
Nick Mullins in the first half, 16-24, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. 210 have gone to George Kittle.
And coming off of a 400-yard passing game last week and a loss, but it's still good momentum for Nick Mullins.
Craycraft, and he's just going to take a knee. 6 seconds to go. And this is going to be quite a halftime for Denver and Vance Joseph. 66 yards of offense with Case Keenum at quarterback. Defense has been shredded apart with Kittle running free. Obviously without 2 key players in Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris, but there was a lot of optimism coming into this game that the rookies were ready to step up. Sense of urgency was there with the playoffs within reach, and this has not been a very inspired half of football by the Denver Broncos. They're going to have to regroup in a big way. Trailing by 20 at intermission. Halftime is coming up next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. San Fran in front, 20-0.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Start of the 2nd half. San Francisco leads Denver 20-0. Back in the booth with the Hall of Famer James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalan. There was no memo. This just kind of happened. Yeah, I don't know how. George Kittle, 200.
You look good in that.
You do too. 210 yards receiving since 1991. It's the most yards in the first half of a game by any player. Denver has to stop this guy.
And there have been huge plays by George Kittle, and a lot of it the run after the catch. Now, I don't mean to diminish anything he's done with his 210 yards, but this game has been dominated by the 49ers along the offensive and defensive lines, allowing Kittle to make these big plays, getting good time in the pocket for the young quarterback, Nick Mullins, and just disrupting everything and anything that Denver's tried to do offensively with Case Keenum and the rest of the Denver Broncos.
Injury update for Denver. It's a big one. Isaac Yadam, who is starting today at corner, has a shoulder injury, and his return is questionable. So it's already an area that Denver is not deep at because of the injury to Chris Harris. So we'll see if Yadam can get back onto the field. The Broncos offense gets the ball to start the 2nd half as Langley is tied up. San Francisco special teams has played well today. As we take a look at the quarterback comparison, One of these guys makes $18 million a year, and the other one was on the practice squad all of last year and this year, but you wouldn't know it by the numbers, James.
Nick Mullins, when you talk to him in person, very humble, but also super focused. I mean, when he was the third string practice quarterback, he would get the game plan and go to parking lots and high schools and run the plays all by himself.
Denver backed up to start this drive. First down and 10. Keenum throwing and completes it to Sutton on first down, and Sutton slips a tackle and takes it right to the sticks. Second catch today for the rookie Courtland Sutton as we take a look at the first half numbers. 311 yards of offense for San Francisco. They averaged 363 per game. A lot of penalties as well. 10 on the Broncos for 57 yards. It is a first down after the catch by Courtland Sutton. Philip Lindsay very quiet in the first half. Now Sutton again on the pitch, and Marcel Harris wraps him up. The rookie out of Florida playing in his 5th NFL game. James, what have you seen from this Denver offense?
Well, it has been tough for offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave to kind of figure out exactly what will work, because in the past they've had a ton of big plays from Philip Lindsay. They've had Emmanuel Sanders to throw to on the outside. Lindsay's been taken away. Emmanuel Sanders taken away at practice with that Achilles injury on Wednesday.
Keenum, deep shot for Hamilton, nobody home. Not even close, and it's third down and long. Solomon Thomas was applying the pressure. As you see, Bill Musgrave right there, the offensive coordinator. He was the 49ers' third-string quarterback in '94 when they won the Super Bowl behind Steve Young and Elvis Grbac. And as we met with Case Keenum last night, they said Wednesday, Sanders goes down in practice. They renamed some plays. They moved receivers to different positions, but the game plan did not change. Just some of the positions of guys without Sanders on the field. Third down and 11.
Mike left, 47. Go 48. You trip 47.
Keenum lost the football, and he's able to grab it. It was DJ Reed who hit him and forced it loose. A loss of 5 on the play, and this San Francisco defense forces another quick possession by Denver.
I mean, San Francisco is just rolling. You see all the guys up in the A-gap, so the guards are now on high alert. They don't get out to pick up the blitz from the slot. Get a sack on your quarterback.
First career sack for DJ Reed. Trent Taylor on the return. Taylor with some nice moves out to the 44-yard line. All 3 phases of this game have been dominated by the 49ers. This week in the NFL, only 2 undrafted quarterbacks are starting, and they're going head-to-head today. Case Keenum, undrafted out of Houston. Nick Mullins, undrafted out of Southern Miss. First time since 2014 that 2 undrafted quarterbacks have gone against each other. More on that game in a moment, as Mullins looking to throw it on first down as receiver slipped. So in that game, it was Austin Davis of the Rams against our now colleague Tony Romo of Cowboys. Last time 2 undrafted quarterbacks went head-to-head. In that game, Case Keenum was actually the number 3 quarterback for the Rams that day. But there was a Christian Players Conference in the offseason. Case Keenum was the group leader, and Nick Mullins was in his group. So these 2 have met before, and as Nick Mullins told us, he sees Case Keenum's career path, and he can see himself on a similar journey, or at least that is what he hopes, as Keenum has made some big money now with this contract with the Broncos, as another San Francisco 49er slips. But it's a pretty neat story that 2 undrafted guys going head-to-head here today.
It certainly is, and if you're Nick Mullins, when this season started, you were concerned about making the team, continuing to be the number 3 guy, being on the practice squad. And because of some injuries and to both quarterbacks, you get a chance to not only play, but to start 5 games and to start them in a really impressive fashion, because you can look around the league, and there are some guys who've been in the league 8, 9, 10 years, and they have maybe 20 starts. He's putting together a nice resume that says, I can play this game.
showing blitz. There was some movement up front. And indications are this is going against San Francisco.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
It's on George Kittle. And makes
that's
it
okay,
3rd and 15.
He's done enough so far.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame him? He's anxious to run a route the way he's been catching balls today.
3rd and 15 at the 39-yard line.
49ers 2 for 6 on 3rd downs today. Mullins, pressure coming, and he is sacked. Bradley Chubb with his 2nd of the game, and with that sack, he passes Von Miller for the most sacks in franchise history by a Broncos rookie. He now has 12 on the year.
So you get the stop against the 49ers. Now, what is your offense able to do? Can they come out and make plays and get the ball down the field, get a score, 3 points, 7 points on the scoreboard?
Big stop by the Denver D. Craycraft on the return from his own 24. Craycraft to the outside across the 40. And Denver will have good field position to start this drive. Chubb, the record. Broncos now need some offense. Super Bowl 24, San Francisco over Denver 55-10. Joe Montana MVP. John Elway on the field for that one, and now in the box here as his Broncos trail 20-0, but they have good field position to start this drive. And Lindsey has not been able to get it going today. Fred Warner the first to greet him. Fred Warner, rookie out of BYU, 91 tackles coming into the game, 45 more than anyone else on the 49ers. And Philip Lindsay, just 3 yards rushing today. Second down and 9. It's a play fake. Keenum fires sideline, caught by Patrick for a first down. Second catch today for Tim Patrick, just his 6th of the season.
Nice job by Case Keenum, kind of looking left because he realizes that Richard Sherman is reading his eyes when he's in zone coverage. So when he looks left, Sherman sloughs off a little bit, they throw it underneath.
Fake it to Lindsey, Keenum rolling right, nobody there, and he throws it away. Julian Taylor, the rookie out of Temple, who was applying pressure on Keenum.
And you think that you're going to fool the defense a little bit, but Richard Sherman, who was fooled a little bit the previous play, got the receiver locked up one-on-one on the outside. Richard Sherman is going, I kind of like this. I went years in Seattle where people were afraid to throw at me. Now, you throw a pass in my direction, then you look in my direction. The next play, come on, bring it on.
Still looking for his first interception of the season, Richard Sherman. A pitch to Lindsey. Can he get it going? Across the 40 and out of bounds, shoved out by his former teammate at Colorado, Akello Witherspoon. Lindsey told us last night if he had the chance, he was going to run Witherspoon over.
And that's Lindsey's attitude because, you know, we look at him, we see one of the smaller running backs in the league, but he has that tough, physical attitude, and he's probably had that ever since he first put on a football uniform.
Andre Holmes is on the field for Denver. He was claimed off waivers on Wednesday after Sanders tore his Achilles. 3rd down and 5. Keenum over the middle, and it is caught. And that is going to be very close to a first down. It was Deshaun Hamilton who reeled it in. DJ Reed on the tackle, and that was 4th down.
That was an instantaneous decision. I could see Vance Joseph from up here. He has his hand on his hip, the little button that you use to talk to the offensive coordinator, and saying, go for it. Go for it. Let's get ready for this play.
Denver 58% on 4th downs this year. It's 4th and inches. Janovich, the fullback. Lindsey, the running back. Janovich up the middle, and he's got the first down. That is just his second carry of the year.
And I love that fullback dive when all the eyes are kind of on the tailback in the eye. They're all watching him, and you don't watch the fullback. You know he's probably going to be the lead blocker, but you're not thinking he's going to be the ball carrier. It's a nice push, and he's low man. He gets that forward momentum going and gets past the line of scrimmage and picks up the first down.
So Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator, sees the drive continue. It's 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Keenum to Patrick again. Patrick puts up to the middle of the field and tripped up at the 27-yard line.
There are just no clean looks for Case Keenum. I mean, he drops back in the pocket. He's having to move. He's trying to get out of the way of the pass rush. And then once he gets ready to throw down the field, there's just a lot of contested balls down the field. So great job by the 49ers defense playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulders and getting after Case Keenum, realizing that he really does not have a go-to bona fide number one target.
Cortland Sutton is hobbling on the Denver sideline. He's not on the field right now. Keenum, pressure again. Keenum, and he throws it away. There was a receiver in the area. It was Eric Armstead with the pressure this time. There's Cortland Sutton in a bit of pain on the Denver sideline. Second-round pick out of SMU.
And you see the pressure on the other end, just four guys fighting their way back to the quarterback. Case Keenum getting rid of the ball. Big third down series here. And you have to wonder, they're kind of in field goal range, so you don't want to lose anything here if you're Case Keenum.
Keenum, and that pass is caught by Patrick. He was slipping to the ground, still able to make the catch, but it's short of a first down. It's 4th and about 1, and once again, Vance Joseph is keeping the offense on the field.
It's a 3-score game. I don't know, this is kind of early to be passing up a short field goal attempt.
They're going to call it 4th and 2. And no Janovich this time. It's just Lindsey in the backfield.
And Hamilton in the slot.
Keenum rolling right, throws. Patrick, he's got it! Inside the 5. First and goal for Denver. A 19-yard pickup. Vance Joseph wants him to snap the ball
they got
quickly.
A play that they do in a hurry. You know, we've got this play called. Let's get it done.
Big play for Patrick. 5 catches, 55 yards. Both are career highs. Lindsey up the middle and in. Touchdown, Denver. And finally, with 6:05 to go in the third quarter, the Broncos are on the scoreboard. 2 fourth-down conversions on the drive, and Lindsey has his 9th rushing touchdown.
Gutsy call on that 4th and 2 with the rollout, and Case Keenum doing a great job in throwing the ball in the Richard Sherman area, which you didn't think that they could penetrate.
So Brandon McManus is out for the extra point. And it is good. He's now 31 of 31 on the year. Took a while, but the Broncos are on the board. It's the rookie Lindsey, and it's a 13-point game. For Philip Lindsey, that's his 8th rushing touchdown since week 7, most in the NFL in that span. He has not had a big day on the ground, 8 carries, 12 yards, but was finally able to take it in, and it's a 13-point game. McManus kicking away, and James, who was pulled earlier, was back out there for the 49ers, and he is down at the 17-yard line with a flag coming in. On Denver's first 7 possessions, they had 69 yards. That last drive covered 56 yards, so they finally got something going.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 36. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
CBS's Super Bowl season continues, and with the regular season about to wind down, it's all about the playoffs. Next Sunday, Miami takes on Minnesota, and then two of the NFL's toughest, Tom Brady and the Patriots, battle the Steelers. The NFL Today brings you the complete playoff picture at noon Eastern right here on CBS. San Francisco, after the penalty, starts this drive at its own 10-yard line. And on first down, it's Wilson. And the flag is down. Wilson tackled by Von Miller after a gain of 1. Injury update for Denver, Cortland Sutton. It's a thigh injury, but his return is probable, so that is good news for the Broncos. Yadam still questionable with a shoulder injury for Denver. He is not out there right now.
Holding, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And the penalty called on Pecco.
And people go, what? Now, what he does is he holds an offensive lineman or a block who's trying to get off to get to that second level. It's an unusual call. You can see him kind of disagreeing with the official right there. But defensive linemen do it. Sometimes they're just a little more discreet when they do it.
So with Yadam out, it's Jamar Taylor in at cornerback. He was signed on Tuesday after he was cut by Arizona last month. So only been in Denver for a couple of days, and now out there on the field in a big spot, third quarter. Denver in need of a win to keep their playoff hopes intact. Mullins in trouble, and it's incomplete.
Kittle was so successful in the first half, Andrew. I almost wonder if you've run out of big plays on your play sheet to call for him. Well, they tried to dial up another one right there. And this time, there were 3 Broncos around Kittle at the end of the play. So the next man up or the next man in the progression has to be open for Nick Mullins.
Second down and 10. Mullins throwing right to Pettis, and he's got a first down. Knocked out of bounds by Justin Simmons, but a gain of 18 for number 18.
Just a little high-low combination with 2 wide receivers. You see Goodwin going out. He's the low guy, and the high guy is Pettis. Pettis comes up with a little hitch in his giddy-up, coming back to the far side.
Yeah, a little bit of a limp as he came off to the San Francisco sideline. He did miss 3 games with a knee injury earlier this year that he suffered against the Chargers.
Kittle split out wide and about to come back in motion.
And it's Wilson. Cuts back to the middle, spins off a tackler, and Wilson with an 11-yard run. The ball came out after. And San Francisco recovers. Take another look.
One of the things that young running backs experience when they get to the NFL is it's the second or third guy in that are causing the fumbles, and you've got to really secure that ball all the way to the ground. There he is, wrapped up by 2 guys, and that third man punches the ball out.
Wilson fumbled last week in Seattle, and the Seahawks recovered. This time San Francisco recovers.
Yeah.
And it's second down and 1. And now Wilson has the first down. So Kyle Shanahan coaching against the team where he used to be the ball boy when his dad Mike was the head coach. And you see that picture on the right? That's in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan said this week, interesting trivia question, the last person to hold the wires for a Super Bowl winning coach was me, because the following year it went to wireless headsets down on the sideline. So incredible picture as Kyle spent a lot of his childhood growing up in the Denver area. Remembers going to John Elway's house for Thanksgiving. And so many memories as a ball boy and a Broncos fan, and now coaching against them today. With his dad, Mike, he told us, Mike Shanahan, in attendance today. Kyle was funny talking about their relationship. He said, our roles have completely reversed. When I was a little kid, I would bug him to death about, Dad, trade for this guy. Dad, call this play. Now it's the other way around. Mike's got some free time on his hands, and anytime that Kyle wants to talk, Mike's like, hey, Kyle, I got a few ideas for you.
A whole laundry list of ideas, too. And Kyle's going, well, I'm not trying to rush him off the phone. He is my dad.
Yeah, but as Kyle told us, his dad has been so helpful for him. So lucky to have that relationship. And now with the play clock winding down, it's at 2. They're going to have to call timeout. First timeout this half by either team with 2:31 to go, third quarter.
'49ers are trying to maintain that momentum. They were backed up to start this drive, started in their own 10-yard line, aided by a holding call against the defense.
How about an NFL Today update with JB and Coach Cower back in New York?
Philly's D contributed.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, second interception by Corey Graham, leads this Carson Wentz to Alshon Jeffries from 2 yards out, making it 9-6. They missed the extra point.
Back to Andrew Catalan and James Lofton.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Here in Santa Clara, the 49ers have a 20-7 lead, 2.5 minutes to go, third quarter. After the 49ers timeout, it's second down and 5. Mullins slips to the ground and then just throws it with Pecco, and it's scooped up. There was no whistle. Simmons is going to take this one inside the 10, and he takes it back. Now, this looked like an incomplete pass, but there was no whistle, and for the moment, it appears to be a Denver touchdown. Okay. Yeah, he looked down. That did not look like a fumble.
That's the second time in this series where the center has stepped on his foot. He did it on a pitch out, and this time you can see the center stepping on his foot right there, and then he's on his
he threw the ball,
and then he throws the ball forward. So he did all the right things once he was on the ground, because you can still throw it. That's a little tougher throwing it down the field when you're in that position.
Been a tough year for San Francisco center Weston Richburg in his first year, signing a big contract after coming over from the Giants. According to Pro Football Focus, he's the number 30th center in the NFL and has allowed 24 pressures this year, tied for the most of any center. And he played collegiately at Colorado State.
Game clock
back
operator,
in the
please
game.
reset the game clock to 2:29. 2:29.
Put some more time back on the clock. As James mentioned, Pettis is back out there. You saw him hobble off before. It's third down and 9. Taylor goes in motion. Here come the Broncos. Simmons on a blitz. Mullins is decked, and it's incomplete. Simmons and Parks both came on a blitz, and Mullins was hit hard.
That is about as hard as you will see a quarterback get hit. There's a free run, unobstructed, and does a nice job lowering his shoulder and not putting his helmet into the quarterback. But yeah, that's a big wallop there that Mullins just took.
And a big stand by the Denver defense to get the football back. Craycraft, the return man, awaiting the punt at his own 10. Pinion trying to pin him deep. Craycraft. And there was a flag down, and there was some contact with the punter, Bradley Pinion. It was fourth down and 9, so if it's running into the kicker, it would not be a first down. But if it's roughing the kicker, that's a different story.
And where they assess the penalty, they can assess it at the end of the punt.
Running into the kicker, defense number 43. That penalty's declined. Timeout.
So it'll still be Denver football when we come back. They trail 20-7. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Denver with the football, down by 13, and they'll start this drive at their own 8-yard line. Keenum from his own end zone completes it. And that is the tight end, Brian Parker. Just his second catch in his career, played collegiately at the University at Albany. First 7 drives for the Broncos, 65 yards, did not score. Last drive, 56 yards, and it went for a touchdown with Lindsey running it in. And Cortland Sutton is in the game. We told you he had a thigh injury. He is back out there for the Broncos. Lindsey taken down by Buckner. So Forrest Buckner has had a big year for San Francisco, a career high 9 sacks.
You know, he is creeping into that conversation when you start to talk about and list defensive tackles around the league. Aaron Donald with the Rams, Geno Atkins with the Cincinnati Bengals. And you go, hey, well, how about that kid out in San Francisco? Buckner, 6'7", playing in the interior and having great inside pass rushing skills.
Denver just 1 for 9 on 3rd downs. They did convert 2 4th downs on their last drive. Keenum. And he completes it to Hamilton. Just as Keenum was about to go down, Deshaun Hamilton moves the chains, a gain of 14.
I talked earlier about nothing being easy for the Broncos offensively. The pass rush is there, get coverage down the field, and it's all tight, all contested. So 49ers are kind of holding up there, but the Broncos showing a little bit of grit, chipping away little by little at this lead.
Final 20 seconds of the 3rd quarter, a big 3rd down conversion for Denver. Lindsey. And Lindsey gets 3 yards. That could be the final play of the quarter. Denver, a 6-6 record, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. They've got a lot of work to do in the 4th quarter. Start of the 4th quarter in Santa Clara, California. The 49ers 20, the Broncos 7 with the Hall of Famer James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalon. We thank you for joining us. Week 14 of the NFL on CBS. And the Broncos have the ball to start this quarter, facing a 2nd down and 6. Keenum to the air. Steps up with keeping himself, and he dives for the 1st down. It was Fred Warner who made him dive, and that spot is going to be good enough for a Denver 1st down.
Keenum making the most out of nothing because you've got great coverage down the field. He's looking, he fake pumps and dives and just gets right past the marker.
You know what kind of day it's been for Denver? Case Keenum is their leading rusher. 3 carries for 21 yards. Philip Lindsay, 10 carries for 16 yards.
So this defensive line has consistently knocked back Denver's offensive line.
Lindsay slipped a little bit, gets back to his feet, and crosses the 40 to the 41. A gain of 4 for Philip Lindsay. Fred Warner makes another tackle.
Look at the knockback. You get that? Philip Lindsay has to cut back, and it's slippery right there in the middle of the field. It's been resodded just outside the hash marks, and that's kind of the new turf. It's a little more slippery than outside where the number area is. You can see that little shaded area, all that in between is the new sod.
2nd and 6. Keenum looking for more in the air, and it's incomplete. Hamilton attempted a one-handed catch, but instead it's 3rd and 6. You know, James, we talked about what Denver told us were their offensive keys to this game. Start fast.
Yes.
They were scoreless at halftime. And take some deep shots down the field. Haven't really seen that either. Denver's longest pass play today is 19 yards to Tim Patrick.
Well, Exum, their safety, number 38, has done a great job just planting himself in center field and not giving up that area for the Broncos to be able to throw the ball down the middle.
3rd and 6. Keenum tackled from behind. Cassius Marsh delivering the hit. And they're marking Keenum down at the 44-yard line. He is 3 yards shy of a first down, and Vance Joseph, for the moment, has his offense staying on the field.
Yeah, and you see the replay, you see the blitz coming at you, and Keenum with his eyes going forward doesn't feel Marsh closing in from his right side.
So how about this call by Vance Joseph at his own 44? He's going for it on 4th and 3.
Well, you send a couple of messages. Number one, to your offense, go get it. Number two, to your defense, stop them if you have to get out there.
Fans here making some noise. Play clock at 1. Keenum to Lindsey. Lindsey behind the line of scrimmage. Second effort. He reaches forward, and I don't know if he got there. It looks like he's going to be short. And it's San Francisco football. Cassius Marsh again. A gutsy call to go for it on 4th down, and a very gutsy play call to run it on 4th and 3. 20-7 49ers coming up after the game, time permitting. The State Farm postgame show. Our guys back in New York have all the scores and highlights coming up on the State Farm postgame show. So after Lindsey was tackled a yard short, San Francisco gets the ball back at the Denver 46-yard line. It's a handoff to Wilson, who's wrapped up by Adam Gotsis. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, 1978 to 1980, at least 10 losses each of those 3 seasons, but then obviously they found gold in 1981, winning the Super Bowl. And maybe this San Francisco team is now with 4 straight seasons of at least 10 losses, trying to build some momentum going forward.
Well, you've had the comparisons between Jimmy Garoppolo and Joe Montana. You know, just eliciting those 2 names in the same sentence.
On 2nd and 9, it's Morris, and it'll be 3rd down. But James, let me just take you back to the 4th down play call, the run to Philip Lindsay. What did you think?
Well, I see Philip Lindsay, who I know is a left-handed person, going to the right with that ball in the left arm, and he can't ward off the defender. I would have much rather have seen that play run the opposite way. He'd have the ball in that outside arm and maybe be able to stiff arm the defender and pick up that extra half a yard. So, you know, it's one of those things where you'd love for him to be able to put the ball in both arms, but he may not feel comfortable doing that.
3rd down and 9, Mullins, and it is intercepted. That went into the hands of the Denver defender, Darian Stewart.
That ball's thrown low to Taylor. It pops up in the air. All turnovers are reviewed. We've got to wait to see. Did it touch? Did it scrape? Did it hit the ground? But it really looked like Stewart got his arms under it. Look at him driving from his deep safety position. And it looks like he has that right arm under that ball as he's dragging his body across the ground.
Off the hands of Taylor. Was Stewart able to prevent it from hitting the ground? We'll be back in a moment.
Game clock operator, can you please reset the game clock to 11:21? 11:21 on the game clock.
While we were away, they did confirm it was an interception for Darian Stewart. That's his 2nd of the season, the 11th of his career. And to follow up on this, we welcome in our rules analyst, Gene Steratore, back in New York. What did you see on that play, Gene?
Really tight play. And, you know, although the defender really didn't possess the football right away, the football just never hit the ground. And I think it's a good ruling on the field and a good supportive confirmation from the replay booth.
All right, thank you very much, Gene. And really, when you think about it, they went for it on 4th down, didn't get it, but with the interception, they lost a little bit of time, but they didn't really lose any field position, James.
Yeah, they got the ball back almost in the exact same spot, and they've got a chance now to obviously get 7 points out of this drive.
2nd down and 3. It's Freeman. He's got the first down and breaks free to the 2nd level. Freeman stiff-arming defenders and out of bounds inside the 30. It was Exum who finally shoved them out, but not before he gains 23 yards.
And Richard Sherman, who's normally a really short tackler, is going to come up. He's going to come up in this direction, and he's going to miss the tackle here, and that's Richard Sherman-like.
So Freeman, the third-round pick out of Oregon, had not been out there much today, just his third carry, or he had 3 carries until that play. But he breaks free, and now first down and 10 for Denver. Keenum and caught. That's Hamilton at the 25-yard line, a gain of 4. C.J. Reed on the tackle.
See, that play kind of just irks me just a little bit. The drop back that the quarterback had 7 yards deep was further than the route down the field. You could throw that route in your backyard if you wanted to. So Keenum, if you're going to drop back and take a shot at the end zone, take that shot, but no receivers were down there.
It's Freeman again, up the middle. And bulldozes his way to the 21-yard line. It'll be third down and 2. See this trio of rookies. Third most by a rookie trio through 12 games since 1970.
And the heavy lifting of this group has been done by the smallest one, Philip Lindsay. But right now, Royce Freeman getting his hand at it.
They're riding Freeman right now, third and 2. Freeman tripped up. He lost a yard on the play. Marcel Harris making an impact.
And when we talked to Richard Sherman about Marcel Harris, he said, it's 100 miles an hour in one direction. It might be the wrong road, but he's going 100 miles an hour, and that time he was going in the right direction.
All right, so Vance Joseph on 4th and 3 once again will go for it. He's 2 for 3 today. Lindsay is back in the game. Freeman goes out. Keenum to Lindsay, and Lindsay lunging and did not get there. Marcel Harris again. Second straight time Denver has been stopped on 4th down. Vance Joseph shaking his head during that commercial timeout. His team fails to convert on 4th down for the second straight time. So the 49ers get the ball back at the 21. As Wilson slipped, gets up and gets a couple extra yards out of it. Let's go back to the 4th down play, James.
Fans love the question play calls. You're trying to get a rub route on this player right here. You're trying to run this receiver up. He doesn't get the rub route. He gets off cleanly, and he's able to make the tackle. So it's not the play call, but it's the execution of the play, the small details, and that's what has the whole Denver Broncos sideline a little disappointed right now.
Good sign, though, defensively. Isaac Yiadom left earlier with a shoulder injury, was out for a few series, back in there for the Broncos. It's 2nd down and 6. 49ers have just 28 yards of offense this half. And Wilson adds a couple more to the total. But in the first half, San Francisco averaged 8 yards per play. Here in the second half, just under 2 yards per play.
No Kittles.
Yeah.
You know, those little candy, those bite-sized candies I was talking about.
Yeah, Kittle doesn't have a catch here in the second half. And Denver's been very good defensively in the 4th quarter. They're not allowed a touchdown in the 4th quarter in 7 straight games. They need that to continue, but they also have to try to find some points as we approach 7 minutes to go. And a big play here, 3rd down and 2. Mullins dropped. Dante Pettis had a first down and dropped it, and that is a gift for the Broncos.
Not just a first down, but room to run after the catch. Ball's a little low, takes his eyes off of it because he's trying to take a peek up the field to see what moves he's going to put on the next defender. Turn the ball back over to the Broncos.
Third drop today by the San Francisco offense, and once again, Pinion will punt here in the second half. Craycraft awaiting the kick at his own 20. Short kick. Craycraft all the way up to the 30 and tackled at the 32. Don't forget, coming up after the game, time permitting, it's the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest scores and highlights coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Two-possession game here, 20-7. 3 timeouts left for Vance Joseph. He's already made it clear he's going to be going for it on 4th down. So you would think it's 4-down territory the rest of the way for Denver.
Yeah. Ladies, what's up?
Keenum swings it to Lindsey, same as the 4th down play, but this time Lindsey is able to get 11 yards. Actually, they mark him out of bounds before the stick, so it's a 9-yard pickup, but a good start to this drive, and now Denver will go no huddle.
And you're at that juncture of the game where you need a big strike player, and that player obviously is Philip Lindsay. One of the receivers needs to step up.
Keenum over the middle, Hamilton hit home, but he holds on, and there's a flag. 2 flags come in. It was Exum who had the big hit. And how about Hamilton holding on to that football?
Yeah, you're going to pick up 15, defenseless receiver, all of that. Hamilton, good catch in traffic.
Personal foul, defense number 38. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Take a listen to this hit. Keenum to Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the coaches down on the field. This used to just be good, old-fashioned, tough football, but now it really is a penalty. You can see the helmet leading in there with the helmet-to-helmet contact. Everything that you're trying to get out of football, which you used to love watching, no longer is it allowed.
So the ball the way up to the 27-yard line. Keenum play fake, taking a shot for Patrick on the sideline, and he is out of bounds.
Yeah, and you don't have the luxury of using one of your timeouts to challenge this play right here. Because I think his right foot is down and the left toe drags. Right foot, watch the left toe dragging. That's a catch.
Wow. Ruled out of bounds. Vance Joseph does have all 3 timeouts, but will not challenge this play. It's 2nd down and 10. Keenum to Lindsey, incomplete. Gene Steratore, our rules analyst back in New York, and Gene, the penalty on Exum and then the out-of-bounds play. What'd you see on both?
Agree with James and you, Andrew, both on both plays. The safety hit, naturally, we want to get that out of the game. That's a foul. The other play, I do agree with what James just said. I do think the left foot did stay down, and I believe that was a catch as well.
Interesting. Thank you, Gene. 3rd down and 10. Keenum has time and completes it to Lacoste, and he's tackled at the 25. So it'll be 4th down and 7. And Vance Joseph, as we've seen, is going to be going for it. He's got the offense out on the field.
Case Keenum has to wonder which one of these young receivers is going to step up and make this critical play on 4th down for him.
2 for 4 on 4th downs. Fans on their feet. Here comes the blitz. Keenum throwing, and it's complete along the sideline. A 1st down. It is Tim Patrick who makes the catch.
And I think Vance Joseph is signaling them to get up and try and get this play run right away, but you've got an injured 49er down on the field. Tarvarius Moore, number 33, came in on the blitz, got walloped by Freeman coming over across the formation to pick up the blitz.
Another tight play on the sideline.
This gives Kyle Shanahan extra time to kind of look at that play. Got both feet down, but looked like he was juggling the ball just ever so slightly as he's going out of bounds.
So 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. 5:20 to go. Keenum in trouble, gets rid of it, and it's caught by Devontae Booker. So Keenum avoids the sack and actually picks up 4 yards on the play. Denver going no huddle. From the 11-yard line. Keenum staying in the pocket, now throws incomplete. As that pocket was collapsing and Keenum went to the ground, it's 3rd and 6. DeForest Buckner bringing the heat.
And it's just what would be a 3-step drop out of the shotgun. You've got a couple of slant routes, and then you get the pressure because Keenum pumps and his offensive line, they're just blocking for that quick throw. And when he has to recock his arm, pressure's in his lap.
3rd downs have been a disaster today for Denver. They're 2 for 13. 3rd and 6. They hand it off to Lindsey, following his blocks, and Lindsey right to the sticks. And initial indications are it's short. It's 4th and inches. You know what Vance Joseph's doing. Right back to Lindsey, and Lindsey's got the 1st down. 1st and goal. Inside 4.5 to play.
Boy, that was a great move by Lindsey to jump cut, get to the outside hole because there was a defender right in his lap.
Play fake to Lindsey. Keenum rolling out. Pressure coming. Keenum throws, and it's incomplete. And a flag comes in.
That throw by Keenum should have been over and out the end zone on 1st down. You don't make that type of throw on 1st down.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
It's on DJ Reed, the rookie out of Kansas State.
Even though you think you might have somebody open, you don't throw that ball late back into that much traffic, unless you're, of course, a 49er rolling to the right.
So the ball is at the 1-yard line.
This is where Lindsey's so shifty because he can start, make that quick cut, and he has great vision.
A play fake. Keenum rolling left, throws end zone, incomplete. It looked like Elijah Lee got a hand on that for San Francisco, and it's 2nd down.
This is where it should be illegal to wear number 48 or 47 and play inside linebacker. They look like safeties, they cover like safeties. This is just a great play by Lee. He's half a step behind, and then that closing speed to get that hand in there and bat the ball away.
2nd-year linebacker out of Kansas State, was college teammates with DJ Reed, teammates again here in San Francisco. 12th play of the drive, 2nd and goal. Keenum is in the shotgun. Keenum throws end zone, incomplete. Cortland Sutton, the intended target, and it's 3rd down and goal.
Just a little off target. He's moving to his left so that ball carries a little bit further in that direction. You've got another 49er down out of bounds.
And it's
like Witherspoon.
Yeah, Witherspoon, who had the coverage on that play, is still down on the ground. Sacramento, California native Akello Witherspoon played collegiately at Colorado, where he was teammates with Philip Lindsay. And San Francisco is already without their nickel corner today. K'Wan Williams inactive because of a knee injury. Clock is stopped with 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Denver has all 3 timeouts remaining, and they'll have it 3rd and goal coming up. And a good sign there. Witherspoon's able to sit up.
You know, sometimes I think fans will look and they'll say, well, you know, he looks like he's okay. Maybe he should get the training staff and the medical staff. They want to kind of know exactly what you think you hurt, because sometimes you go down and you just know you've gone down and you don't know exactly if it's your ankle, if it's your knee, if it's your hip or whatever. So it just takes a while to make all those confirmations.
For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Broncos and 49ers with James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalon. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. So Witherspoon heads off, and now 3rd and goal for the 1. We've seen back-to-back pass attempts from the 1-yard line. Let's see if they run it here on 3rd and goal.
Greg Mabin, number 26, in Witherspoon's spot.
Keenum looking that way, incomplete. Broncos want a penalty flag on Mabin. Instead, it's 4th and goal. I don't get 3 straight runs from the 1. I just don't get that, James. 3 straight passes, rather. 3 straight
all
passes.
over him. And you think that you've got a guy coming off the bench and you're going to go after him, but you've got to give your receiver a more catchable ball than that. Let him use his height, let him use his length, and let him go up and get it as opposed to throwing that ball on the line.
Denver's had a lot of success on 4th down today, 4 out of 6. Big one here, 4th and goal, empty backfield. Keenum throwing, Hamilton's got it, touchdown! Fittingly on 4th down, and the Broncos are still alive. It's 20-13. For Deshaun Hamilton, that is his first NFL touchdown.
And this ball gets out on a line. You get the rub route, the natural pick. You get the receiver coming inside. You can see DJ Reed running into. He's the defender who has Hamilton in coverage, but he couldn't get past that claw.
Extra point from McManus is good. So off the Nick Mullins interception, Denver goes down the field and makes it a 6-point game. What a statistical oddity today for Denver. They have more 4th down conversions than they do 3rd down conversions. They have 2 3rd down conversions and 5 4th down conversions.
So what you're telling me is they should get in the huddle and say, okay guys, it's 4th down, let's go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They do have 3 timeouts. So Denver trying to keep their playoff hopes alive at 6-6. And need another big defensive stand coming up. Remember, Denver was 3-6 at its bye, and they have won 3 in a row. Only 5 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after starting the season 3-6.
Three minutes, 53 seconds, obviously 3 timeouts that Denver has. You'd be able to stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. So time is not a factor. And we saw the special teams coach holding up a play. I would think that this will be a pop-up kick that you're going to try and loop over the front lines.
There it is, high kick to the 14-yard line, and James is just going to go down at the 20. We mentioned only 5 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after starting 3-6. The 1970 Cincinnati Bengals, 94 Patriots, 95 Detroit Lions, the 96 Jacksonville Jaguars, and most recently RG3 and the Redskins in 2012. Denver hoping to add their name to that list. Right now a 6-6 record.
The asterisk next to that Bengal team, 14-game season.
Wilson. And this San Francisco offense has been bottled up the entire second half.
Couple things here. We've seen Wilson with a fumble. We know he had a fumble last week. So once again, the second, third guys in are going to be trying to rip that ball out of his arms.
Vance Joseph calls his first timeout to stop the clock with 3:46 to go. He has 2 remaining and the 2-minute warning.
When you get a team that is heavy in pursuit, the thing that you think about is trying to bootleg away from it. So you start to the right or start to left, you bootleg in the opposite direction. The trouble with doing that is on the outside at one end, you have Von Miller. On the outside at the other end, Bradley Chubb. So 2 very big, physical, fast guys on the outside who are containing plays that try and get around the edges.
49ers only have a total of 33 yards this half. Mullins throwing on second down. Goodwin has it. And then the ball came out. And they're ruling Goodwin down short of the first down marker with Bradley Roby on the coverage. Denver is saying that should be an incomplete pass.
And he fumbled the ball backwards, so he's not going to get that yardage. And now they're deciding whether or not he had it. Did he take the third step, make that football move? It looks like he did, even though he didn't tuck the ball in. He still did that little pirouette. Going out of bounds under 5 minutes also stops the clock.
That's a tough spot for a challenge for Vance Joseph, trying to protect those timeouts.
Yeah, I think you put it on your defense here, and it's going to be a short pass if it is thrown, but now the red challenge flag has come out of Vance Joseph's pocket.
I don't know. To me, that was a catch and then a fumble out of bounds.
I think it was too. 1, 2. He's about to take that third step.
Gene Steratore, our rules analyst,
challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. The player's under review.
Back in New York. Gene, what do you think on this play?
The three elements that make this a completion, and before we start that process, let's remember the ruling was catch fumble on the field, and what I am seeing is that he has possession. He does take 2 steps, and then that time element to make a football move or begin to make one, I believe, although it is very narrow and condensed, that time element, I believe that beginning to pirouette, as James said, and start to tuck is the beginning of that third element, and I would think that they will stay with this ruling of catch fumble.
All right, Gene, great explanation.
Thanks, Gene.
It appears to me, to us at least, that it's whatever the call on the field is going to be. Is that's the call? If they called that incomplete, it would be hard to make it a catch and then a fumble out of bounds. The call on the field is a completion. And
I think sometimes when it happens right in front of your bench, it's hard to take that emotion out of it because you think, okay, they've got a 3rd and 3 coming up, but if they didn't have a completion, we've got a 3rd and 9, and we've really got a chance to shut them out and get them off the field. So you take a risk and lose one of your timeouts here, as opposed to him catching that ball in bounds and maybe having to stop the clock. You know, it's a catch. Maybe it's not much of a catch, but I believe it's a catch.
Right in front of Vance Joseph. Here's Sean Smith.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass is confirmed. Denver will be charged their second timeout. The ball will be placed at 28-yard line. The clock will start on the whistle.
A big timeout lost there by Denver. They only have 1 remaining, and now a 3rd down and 2 play. Vance Joseph now 1 for 6 on challenges this year.
He said the clock would start on his whistle, but the clock should start when the ball snapped because it was fumbled out of bounds. So we've got to watch this, make sure it doesn't start to tick off.
It does not. Wilson goes in motion. Empty backfield for Mullins. And movement up there on the line. Denver indicating it's against San Francisco.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Second false start today against Laken Tomlinson.
That changes so much because now your quarterback is going to have to hold that ball a little longer for your receivers to get close to that 8 yards that you now need to pick up.
Kyle Shanahan, you wonder if they try to find Kittle here. Does not have a catch in the second half after he had 210 yards receiving in the first half. Mullins, and it is caught for a first down. Pettis to midfield and shoved out of bounds. A huge play of 31.
Great job by Mullins in the pocket. See a little crisscross, you get miscommunication, you get somebody driving on a ball from his deep area, and that ball goes right over what you thought was the intended defender. And then Shanahan was trying to get a timeout. He said, hey, I needed the timeout. No, you don't need the timeout. You got luck instead of the timeout.
So Pettis, who had a big drop earlier in the half, comes back for a 31-yard catch. And now with only one timeout in the 2-minute warning, Denver has to stop San Francisco. As Wilson fights his way to the 42-yard line, there's the final timeout called by Vance Joseph with 3:27 to go. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, followed by new episodes of God Friended Me, NCIS Los Angeles, and Madam Secretary. Tonight, only CBS. Showed you the playoff picture before in that fight for the final wild card spot in the AFC. Every team Denver is fighting with won today, with the exception of the Ravens, who go to 7-6. But a loss here would be a massive setback for Denver, with everyone else putting up a victory. 2nd down and 6.
So Jeff Wilson to protect this football.
Wilson tackled from behind by Gotsis. Denver cannot stop the clock. It'll be 3rd down and short. Wilson has 90 yards rushing today. He has been the workhorse, with Matt Breida being sidelined with an ankle injury. It'll be 3rd down and 3 with 3 minutes to go.
This play, once it's run, then takes them down to the 2-minute warning, even if they do not pick up a 1st down here.
And Kyle Shanahan, with the play clock winding down, calls timeout. He's also talking to Robbie Gould over there about how long he thinks he can kick a field goal. As we mentioned, the playoff picture, Baltimore losing at 7-6 now, but Indianapolis over Houston, Miami, the miracle against New England, Tennessee winning on Thursday night over Jacksonville. All those teams now at 7-6. It would be a lot for Denver to leapfrog if they lose this game and fall to 6-7. There's Gould on the sideline. San Francisco picks up this 1st down and stays in bounds. Barring something crazy, Denver will not get the football back. This one will be over. 3rd and 3. Mullins, and it is caught by Taylor. 1st down, inbounds. And the Niners at 2-10 are about to stun the Denver Broncos.
Nice catch by Taylor, but the asterisk has to go to Kittle, because when he goes in motion, all eyes are on him. Taylor comes underneath. You get a little bit of a rub route. I don't like to call them pick routes because I'm from the offensive side of the ball. You get a nice rub. Taylor comes under that, makes the play.
2-minute warning. San Francisco on top by 6. 2 minutes to go, 4th quarter. San Francisco, all they need to do is take a knee. They have a 20-14 lead. And the 49ers about to stop a 3-game losing streak. We here at CBS Sports do want to send our condolences out to the York family. Tony York, the son of co-chairman Denise DeBartolo York and John York, and the brother of CEO Jed York, died on Friday at the age of 35. And we send our condolences to the entire York family.
Second and 11 at the 34.
Well, it's a sweet victory for Kyle Shanahan. He interviewed for the Denver job last year when Vance Joseph got it, ended up getting the San Francisco job when the Broncos decided to hire Joseph, the team he was a ball boy for. His dad, obviously the head coach, winning 2 Super Bowls, and now Kyle Shanahan hands his former team. He said he was a big fan growing up, hands them a loss, and a critical one for Vance Joseph. As you look at their remaining games, they have a Saturday game coming up at home against Cleveland, then at Oakland. That's a Christmas Eve game, and then they finish out the season at home against the Chargers. But a critical loss for Denver in this playoff chase as they fall to 6-7. And Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers end their 3-game losing streak. We'll update the playoff picture in the AFC. And you can see now Baltimore, Indy, Miami, and Tennessee all 1 game ahead of the Broncos in the AFC.
Chiefs clinching that playoff spot, and the Chargers inching ever so much more closely. They were at 10-3 in the wild card spot.
Wait a minute now. Did San Francisco screw this up?
They took the knee.
They took a knee too
fast.
quick.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. Denver is going to get another shot here. They took the knee too quickly. The game was over. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before.
No, because you see it sometimes when it's on a 2nd down or 3rd down that's going to end the game. So you go ahead and take it before you get to, 40 seconds.
Unbelievable. Denver's going to get a shot here. 5 seconds to go.
And we saw earlier Miami execute. Every time I look at that play, I think of Cal versus Stanford, so I'm going to turn away from the field here for a couple of moments.
We already saw a Miami miracle on the final play of the game. Can Denver join them? Here's Keenum over the middle, caught by Patrick. Patrick at the 40. Throws it back to Booker. It bounces, and it goes out of bounds. And no miracle here in San Francisco. You're still going to wonder how they screwed that up, but they get the win, 20-14 over Denver. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, followed by God Friended Me, NCIS Los Angeles, and Madam Secretary. For James Lofton, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Santa Clara. You have been watching the NFL on CBS, your home of Super Bowl 53.